So we're back just to finish the conversation of what challenges Chef Ty has of being a female chef of color. When last we spoke, we were talking about the problem in our industry where we don't get the accolades as female chefs of color. They always put those perspectives as though we need them to help us with things. When in actuality, my question is to you: can I help you? And for instance, I worked for a very major corporate amusement park company, and 13 parks. I was the only female chef for the park, executive chef female for the park, and the only female of color. So when we have culinary consistency meetings or whatever the case may be, or having culinary calls, it was always being shut down by my male counterparts. Then also, not even just that, them always thinking that I needed help. I don't need your help. Can I help you? So going back to what we were saying earlier, you were talking about an instance where you had to actually stick up for yourself against a male chef of another color. So explain to me a little bit more about that.
So I worked for a very prominent hotel chain, and in my case, he was French, and if you know anything about the culinary field, and if you know anything about what we do, French men are more chauvinistic. They're American men, but they are very, you nose down looking at you, you don't belong in the kitchen. Some of them. Some have evolved, but the older ones, like the one I was working with, basically was like, you don't belong here. And I have to show you everything. No, sir, you don't. Let me show you something. And by the end of it, I had not only gained his respect, but he was coming to me asking me for recipes and help with some of the things that was newer because he was older, he was up in age. Some of the things that as females in general that we get are looked at for the way we look, i.e. complexion or build, body size. And if you're small, they think you're weak. If you are curvy, they think you're just there for eye candy. If you're thick, then they just think that either you eat too much or you can't do anything. And it's crazy that when we go to work, we go with a passion of we want people to eat our food and enjoy our food. But when guys go to work, they go with the ego of I can cook better than you, and mine is bigger than yours, and I can piss farther than you, and it shouldn't be that way. We each go and we each have something that we bring to the table. And so in my case, that's basically what happened. I had an older French chef who was coming in to right some of the wrongs in that particular hotel I was working in. And instead of him looking at me as an equal, he looked at me as less than because of the numbers that the hotel had put out. He was rude, but he got an awakening when he came across me.
And that's how I felt also in my business that I was in. I felt like once we received a corporate chef, and come to find out, this gentleman he wasn't even a part of the American Culinary Federation. The funny, ironic thing was that criteria for that position required you to have that. But because he was from the old boys club, and, everybody has a resume, but how real is your resume? I could tell you I work for 100 people and give you a couple of phone numbers, and they could tell you anything, and they may not even work for that business. And that's how I feel like a lot of our counterparts get in the doors, because they boost up their resume, but then when it comes down to that cooking and that critiquing, they're not very well at it. And then when they see us, female chefs, and we have the full package, they get intimidated by us. Now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I am a female who has a lot of curves. And the first thing they think that, oh, you're not quick enough, you can't do this and you can't do that. But once again, like you said, we can run rings around them. And they don't understand that we have a passion for it. You have an ego for it. So it is quite a difference.
It's kind of like, it's almost like our generations, no matter which way we go, women are always looked at as less than. And it's because we're not looked at as being helpmates. We're not looked at as being equals. And unfortunately, some of us, not all, but some of us have, gotten comfortable with being lazy. So it makes it a little bit harder for the go-getters that are out there. Some of us use our curves and our looks to get us into doors even when we don't have substance to keep us there. When it's the ones of us that are hardworking, the ones who truly have the passion for what it is we're doing, when we show up, now we have to show out and almost be considered rude or your stereotypical brown female, because it doesn't necessarily have to be one of just our color. But the minute you speak up for yourself or you stand up for yourself, oh, now you're the typical. No, I'm not. I'm letting you know that I've earned my right to be at this table. And you will respect the work that I put out at this table. If not, you're going to leave the table, and you're the one that's going to be hungry. Not me.
And this is where, Brown Girls Can Cook came into play, because, meeting a lot of you at the National Black Chef Association and seeing where everybody was going in their life and going in their positions and where they wanted to go, and how appreciative we all were to be recognized by someone. And what Chef Bernard did for everybody was open doors of opportunity to be better. And that was one of the things about Brown Girls that was preconceived for us, is because we didn't realize how good we were, because we always feared what our counterparts are going to feel about us. We always feared what we thought about ourselves. But now we're becoming more notable to society. People are looking at us for greatness. And right now, with us getting ready to do the Brown Girls Can Cook documentary and going around the country interviewing a lot of brown girls, it's just not black women, it's Asian women, it's Indian women, it's a lot of our brown girls all over the world are not getting recognized for their positions as chefs. A lot of us is running very big organizations. Even for myself, I had 28 restaurants plus corporate catering, special events catering, picnic catering, concessions, and then 28 restaurant and concession stands within the park that I had to maintain and manage with my food and beverage team. Like, hey, we have a lot to do. And being a part of something like that, it was a great stage for me, and it made the opportunity for myself to grow. And I respect that company to the fullest, because it taught me a lot about who I was and where I wanted to go. So if you had anything to say to any of our listeners, what would that be?
Fail forward. And when I say fail forward, that means never give up. Never stop going forward. If you make a mistake, if you do fail at one thing, continue to go forward. There was a cartoon, it's called Meet the Robinsons. And it came around about the time where my youngest was in middle school and he was having struggles. And every time the young man and they would mess up on an experiment, he was like, okay, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Just know that your best and your brightest is always going to be in front of you. That's why no matter where you go, your front vision is always bigger than your back vision. So if you put yourself in a car, your front window, in which for you to see, has a broader vision than your rear window. Because you don't need to keep looking behind you when everything for you is in front of you. So no matter what you do, no matter where you are, don't look to your left and your right at what others have. Look deep inside yourself and know that everything you need is on the inside. Use it and move forward. Use it and move forward.
And I always tell people, and especially when I go speak to students, that your best is your greatest and your greatest is the exceptional. And when I say that to people, is people like to say, I did my best. So if you did your best, that's your greatest. But if you do the greatest, then that's the exceptional. So we always have to look at our younger generation and let them know that, yes, it's going to be a struggle to where you want to be. I was like, but you don't know where you're going to go until you know where you came from. And like you said, failure is always great because it'll teach you not to do the same things twice.
Yes.
So I think what we have going on with Brown Girls and me being able to talk to a lot of the female chefs in the industry to give their insight so we can promote to other female chefs, regardless of what age, color, ethnicity, or culture that you're coming from, the possibilities are endless as a female chef. We all get the short end of the stick being a female chef. And I wanted to be clear that Brown Girls Can Cook is just not about the brown girls of color, but it is facing our truth. Because our truth is a lot harder than people see. And it's not being shown, the light is not being shown bright enough for us to go through things. It's like when we talked about Chef Danielle, the first female black chef to win Chopped. And then she turned around and won Chopped Champion, but you didn't hear about her. You know, there's people that are doing some amazing things, but you're not hearing about them because we're not considered mainstream compatible. And it's sad, but it's true.
That's because they look at us, and instead of them seeing intelligence, they see what has been personified through glimpses of social media, which is being loud, being not very well educated. And that's what they hold on to. Because if they don't hold on to that, then everything that they've been taught will be a lie. And no one wants to face that. And like every time I hear Brown Girls Can Cook, I just hear beautiful, radiant, outstanding women now. Because this is where we are now. That's what brown is. We're beautiful. No matter what our shade, no matter what it is, we're all beautiful in our own right. We're radiant because everything that we do brings life. Because the heart and everything that's about a woman is bringing nurturing and is bringing life forward. We're outstanding because, we just are everything. And then we're all women. Whether you identify as a woman now, you identified as one when you decided that, whatever was changing, because now we have to realize that people identify with different things. So not to alienate anyone.
Exactly.
Women. And then now, because this is where we are, we're not in our past. What we're doing is making sure that we can take our children and our children's children, our girlfriends' children, our guy friends who don't have the moms in their life, children, and teaching them that the microwave is not the way to cook. That you need to sit down and watch what I do so that you'll have something to pass on to your child. So.
And that is very, very factual in my life, because what I'm doing right now is going to leave a legacy for my granddaughters. I have 3 beautiful granddaughters, and I have one that is 8 years old that told me that she wants to be a chef and she wants to cook. And every time we get together, that's what I do with them. I cook. I teach her something every time I see her so that she can do things. Like the last time we were together, she learned how to make cheese eggs, and she made amazing cheese eggs, and she was 7 years old at the time. So I know if I continue to teach her, and like I always say, reach one, teach one. And if we continue to reach our young female chefs that want to become great chefs, it's about teaching them the learning curves. They need to understand cost of goods, labor costs, overhead. They need to understand the financial backing when you're opening a new restaurant. What is it? They need to learn business plans. They need to know what type of business plan do I need. They need to understand what an SBA is.
Yeah.
Things of that nature. We need to start teaching them how to network and become successful, because knowledge is key. And I want to thank you for coming on the show today and giving us the knowledge on the hemp foods. It was amazing. Like I said, even prior to you coming on the show, once you started telling me a little bit about what hemp was all about, I did some research, and the facts are right there. You can Google them. You really can. And a person like me who deals with health issues, you know, at some point in my life, I may end up having something that has hemp in it. So now understanding what the qualities it can do for my body, you know, that may be something I have a conversation with my medical doctors about, like, hey, can we go a different way, a natural way? You know, just being clear on what we did today. Today was a benchmark for brown girls can cook. The benchmark is that we are reaching the nation on facts about brown girls. I'm going to have several other chefs come on the show and speak about what's going on. We have a panel of chefs that will be in the documentary Brown Girls Can Cook. I look forward for it coming out later on this year or first part of next year. We have a long journey, and it's not going to stop. This is a movement. It's just not for the moment. As Nipsey Hussle said, the marathon must continue. And you got to keep continuing building until it reaches people who understand the need for more female chefs like yourself, like my mother, who was a chef for many years. And she built something within all the franchises and systems that she worked for, all the corporations, the colleges, the hospitals. She left a legacy. She left things there that they're still utilizing till this day. So being able to leave something for our children and our children's children is an amazing venture. Once again, Chef Ty, we want to thank you for coming on the show today. You got to tune in to Brown Girls Can Cook every Tuesday at 5 p.m. We'll give a lot of different insight on the world of a female chef today. Some of our female chefs from the past, you know, who have paved the way for us to be here right now. We want to thank all of you for listening. And once again, tune in to Brown Girls Can Cook on Sensational Sound Radio every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Thank you and have a good night.